welcome back to the Needy Homesteader channel. And if you're new here, my name is Heather. Welcome. Today's video is going to be a little special because it is part of a collaboration put on by my sister friend over at Big Valley Living, Michelle, who invited me to be part of her 30 Days of Preparedness 2025. And I was so excited. She asked me if I would like to make some videos, I'm doing my videos on a Sunday because they are some more spiritually led, if you will. So anyway, I will leave a link up above. I always forget which corner it is, where you can go find her channel. I will put the video introduction for the 30 Day of Preparedness video that she did, and then you can go through and watch all the participants that are sharing freely information that hopefully will be you know, a benefit to you and help serve you in preparing your own home, your own family. And so it's a wonderful idea. I don't think we can ever talk about these topics enough personally. And so go over, subscribe to her, go check out the other channels, all the other videos, and hopefully they will serve you in some way. So I am going to do a couple of videos in this series, this collab, and my next video is going to be about that little special binder that's behind me. I'm gonna talk into deeper depths on that in my next video. But this video, I just really want to sit and chit chat with you guys about being prepared for the unpreparable. Now, if you're new to my channel and you don't know our story, I am a widow. I lost my husband in a drunk driving accident. We were hit head-on by a drunk driver in 2021, and it killed him almost instantly. Critically injured me, seriously injured both of our children, who were the ages of 5 and 8 at the time. It's been a long road to recovery, but thankfully we were prepared. So what does it mean to be prepared, and what did I learn about being prepared for the unpreparable? Because honestly, you can watch a ton of these kinds of videos, you can make these kinds of videos talking about preparedness, but it's not until the rubber meets the road, if you will. It's not until there's an actual emergency and you start putting everything that you've put into place and you actually start using it and utilizing it, is really where you figure out if you really were prepared. And how do you prepare yourself for a devastating catastrophe that rips your family apart? My husband was the breadwinner of our home, and so he was also the one that carried the health insurance for us, and in an instant all that was gone. So I specifically in this video want to talk about the pantry, because after our accident I was in the hospital for well, I didn't get out until almost April, and our accident was February 13th. And then after that, I had in-home care, I had a nurse, I had medical assistants, I had therapists, I had a social worker, I had physical therapists, grief therapists, a lot of counseling. I had a lot of people coming in and out of my home. We specifically, my family, lived off of our pantry for 10 months before I was well enough to be able to go out and replenish everything that we had eaten. And I want to talk about today what I learned in those 10 months, because there were some things that served us well and that I was really grateful for having. But there was also some things that I have since changed about my pantry. I never thought, as I was preparing my pantry, I never thought or considered that anyone other than me or my husband would be in that pantry. So everything that, all the food that I put by, all the supplies that I put by were for us. And never did I ever consider that I might be home, my kids might be home, but I wouldn't be the one in and out of my pantry. And I had different people come in. I had my father, my stepmother live with me. I had a friend live with me for a short time. I had many friends visit that cooked for us. So I had a lot of moving parts. I had my older sons. I had my sister. I had a lot of moving parts in and out of my home, in and out of my pantry. And many that came in didn't know how to use half the stuff in my pantry. They didn't cook from scratch. They didn't use home canning. So I now have incorporated what I call a semi-homemade pantry. I've incorporated some easy put together meals for people in case this ever happens again. Lord willing, it never does, but I cannot sit here and tell you that it won't. I have since had additional emergency surgeries. Mason, my son who was injured, had an emergency surgery that we weren't prepared for. I had an emergency surgery. I broke my leg in 2 additional places the year after our accident, just because my my bones were so weak, and they thought I had a bone infection. That happened in an instant, and I was back off my feet, back in the hospital, again, having to lean on our pantry. So I really want to kind of hone in on that. And I recently, actually the last video that I did on my channel, and I'll leave a link to it up above for you, was a pantry tour. So I take you through my pantry. I talk about the changes that I've made, some of the things that I've added to my pantry in case someone other than me is cooking out of it, and why that those things are important. And then I started gathering comments, both from the comment section and from my other social media platforms, from some of the emails that I have since received, private messages, and I kind of made a little checklist, if you will, over, and this is something I prayed over. I pray over my videos. Sometimes I have an idea of, you know, oh, I'm going to talk about that, but then the Lord just works, and Holy Spirit moves, and we pivot a little bit. So I wanted to address some of these things regarding a pantry, because many people don't have one, or they have a small one, and they know that it's not enough. They know that, you know, I think it's 80% of Americans have 3 days worth of food on hand, and only like 54% of Americans have food that would last them 2 weeks. That drops significantly to like 34% have enough to last a month. And as far as being prepared, if for a year, could you live off of your pantry for a year, or for, like me, for 10 months? There's only like 2% of us that have a pantry that would sustain you and your family for a year. So how do we move from being prepared for 3 days to a year, if that is your projection, if that's what you are aiming for? And the enemy whispers a lot of things in our ears that are simply not true. And those are the things that I want to address, because as you leave, at least out of this video, I want you to feel boldened. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel rooted. I want you to feel like this is not out of your range, that this is doable for you. This is doable for your family. And it does not have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. And we're going to walk through some of the lies that the enemy speaks over us, to prevent us from being better prepared for those life emergencies, like an accident, a sudden death, an illness, you know, being injured, at work, a layoff. It doesn't have to be as extreme as, you know, as like my personal story is. It could be, you know, a loss of an income that carries your family. So let's talk about some of these lies that the enemy whispers to us. And these are directly from comments that I received. So I wrote them down. Okay, I don't have enough room or space for a pantry. Now, I showed a room, I showed a little spare room. It was a little office. That's what I use. But I did not start that way. If you go back, I think it's been 13 years now. I think it's 13 years now, because I just got a little celebration thing from congratulating me from YouTube. But if you go back to those earlier videos where me and my late husband lived in a double wide manufactured home in a community that we were not allowed to plant a garden. And actually, I'm friends with my girlfriend Sonia now because she remembers when I got orange Home Depot buckets, the 5-gallon buckets, and I planted tomatoes in them. And I got a lot of hate for that. I got a lot of people made fun of me for that. And I didn't care. I wanted to grow my own food. And even if that meant growing it in a 5-gallon paint bucket from Home Depot, I was going to do it. And I grew tomatoes, I grew peppers, and they lined my little driveway. And so you can start from anywhere. But when we lived in that house, I had just my kitchen cabinets. That was my pantry. And then I had like a broom closet in the kitchen. And so I took all the, all the stock, we used to keep napkins and paper plates and cereal and things like that in there, and I removed all that and I turned that into a food pantry. Got all the brooms and the mops out and used that. So and then when I ran out of room, I put a Home Depot rack in my laundry room. I put a Home Depot rack in my dining room. I had racks and food a little bit everywhere. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be Pinterest pretty. You just need to be prepared for life's emergencies. So I don't have room or space. We're going to talk about, defining a pantry. So pantry doesn't have to be like mine, a walk-in pantry. A pantry is any space that you can obtain to put food and stock food in. And you can stock food in bins, in buckets. I use 5-gallon food buckets. I know some people use totes. You can use jars. Anything, anywhere that you can store food is a pantry. It counts. You can put it under your bed. A lot of under our beds are wasted space. They're great areas for putting extra food by, extra bags of flour and rice and sugar and dried beans. Those are great places and great ways to utilize space under our couches, behind our couches, anything like that. Another comment that I got, I don't know where to start. I just feel overwhelmed. And I might end up naming this video, Perfection is the Enemy of Preparedness. Because in our minds, we feel like we have to do it right. We have to do it perfect. We have to model it after this person or that person, what we see. And that perfection doesn't exist. And it keeps us from our purpose. It keeps us from our preparedness. So while you're worried about being perfect, in a week, something catastrophic is going to hit your family. And you're not going to be ready because you were so wrapped up in trying to make it perfect. And perfection is a lie. Perfection doesn't exist. Even the things that we think we see that are perfect aren't perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all flawed. We're all sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God every single day. So perfection is a lie. So don't wait until you can do it right. There is no right or wrong way. And I spoke about this in my pantry tour. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean that you're wrong or that you're doing something wrong. It just means that it's different. And one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I started my pantries, I filled my pantry with items and food that my family didn't eat. I didn't know how to cook. And I talk about like oats a lot because I bought a lot of oats because everyone had oats, but nobody in my family likes oats. So like for the longest time I made oat bread, or I would sprinkle oats on top of bread because I didn't know what else to do with it because nobody liked it. So I don't stockpile oats anymore. I have a little bit of oats. So I have a little bit on hand. But I only need like, you know, a quart jar of oats. I don't need a 5-gallon bucket of it. Barley now is the same. My late husband loved barley. Nobody now loves barley here. So do I need a 5-gallon bucket of it? No. So it's okay as you grow, as you change, as your family's tastes change, as your cooking styles change. It is okay to pivot. It is okay to change it up. You don't have to be locked into anything. This is your pantry. This is your family. Fill your pantry with food that you love, food that brings you joy, food that brings you comfort, food that you love to prepare. Don't look at anybody else. Just focus on you and your family, and you can't go wrong. Okay, I promise. Little goes a long way. So little bits. So instead of thinking of the big picture, like, you know, looking at like my pantry, which is why I don't share my pantry, do a pantry tour, because I never want to give anyone that feeling of, oh, that's so, like, I'll never have that. I'll never be able to have that. I'll never be able to afford that. I couldn't afford my pantry to go out and do that in 1 or 2 shopping trips either. My pantry has been built up slowly over the past, you know, 12 years. So, and it's been depleted. My pantry, I'm still rebuilding it from the 10 months that we lived off of it. I'm still replenishing. I'm still restocking. And I've talked about this in my pantry tour about buy 1, buy 2, use 1, put away 1. And if you can do that and buy on sale, slowly you will start building up a stockpile. So you don't have to do, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's little bits at a time, and little bits add up to security. Okay. All right. Another one. I don't, and I've just kind of hit on this. I don't have the money. I can't afford to do that. Not many of us can, especially in today's economy, especially in today's food prices. Have you been to the grocery store lately? You almost need a loan just to buy groceries. So the key for me is I always buy on sale, and I buy in bulk when I can. So instead of 1 at full price, I will wait. Even if I want something, like I want let's just say spaghetti sauce. If I see that spaghetti sauce is $6.99, it's not on sale, I won't buy it. We just don't have spaghetti that week or until I can find it on sale. Then when I find it on sale, I find it on sale like at on Amazon. $2.50 something cents. I found the big giant bottles of ragu. It was on sale and then had a coupon and an additional sale where if you bought like 5, you got 1 free or something like that. Sometimes when you stock up those kind of coupons and sales, those add up. So I stocked up on a few. So I have 1 for this week, and then I have 3 or 4 put by for future weeks. This way, whenever you're eating out of your pantry, you are eating on sale. Everything, nothing costs you full price. I try my very best never to pay full price for anything, even if I have to wait for it. And then when it does go on sale, I stock up on it. So those weeks that it's not on sale, it doesn't bother me because I have some on hand. Another lie. My pantry is ugly. My pantry doesn't look like yours, Heather. I got that a lot yesterday. Mine doesn't look anything like yours. It does not have to. And I would bet anything that if you showed your pantry to 10 other people, they would think the same thing about your pantry that you think about my pantry. They would think it's beautiful. They would think, wow, you've got a little stashed aside. You've got a little stockpile going. It's all in the eyes of the beholder, right? It's all about perspective. So don't speak those curses over yourself. Like, know that what you're doing is good stewardship. And it is a calling. It is a calling that we all should be doing. And that is preparing for, it doesn't have to be this national catastrophic event. It doesn't have to be a poop hits the fan event that it affects the nation or affects your state. Most emergencies are going to be personal. They're only going to affect you and your family. And so as the world goes on, what are you going to do when your world implodes? How are you going to put those little safety nets in place? And your pantry is a huge safety net. And of course, your pantry can grow beyond just food. I have a laundry pantry where I keep all of my staples, like my cleaning products and my toilet paper and my Kleenex and different things like that. I have a pet a pet pantry that I have a stockpile of dog food and cat food and chicken food. So it goes beyond just your food pantry preparedness like this. And then that brings me into, because I grabbed my Bible and I wanted to see what the Father had to say about stewardship and what stewardship is. And, this concept that you're hoarding food, and you'll get that from people who your preparedness makes them feel uncomfortable because they're not prepared. So instead of looking inward and saying, wow, I should be prepared like she is, it's better to lash out. You're a hoarder. You're greedy. You're buying too much. You take away from others. Like all these things that are that are lies. That you live excessively. I like that one. So let's talk about being a good steward and what stewardship means. So. And I did write down some Bible verses so that you can read them for yourself. But the Bible teaches us everything that we have belongs to God. So we are called to be faithful stewards of our home, especially us women. This falls into Proverbs 31. We are supposed to be resourceful, and we are supposed to pour over onto our families. Everything we have belongs to God, and you can find that in Psalm 24:1. It says, the earth is the Lord's, and everything in it, the world, and all who live in it. So we don't own anything outright. Everything that we have, our resources, our money, our homes, our pantries, they all belong to God, and we are called to be caretakers of it. So, and I don't know if you've ever felt this or not, but sometimes I feel, or I notice, that when I don't steward things well, I lose them. So blessings that come onto me because I'm stewarding something well and I'm being a good caretaker of it, when I fall off of that, those blessings disappear. And so it's really important. This is why, especially if you're new to my channel, like one of the things I can't stand is wasted food. So I do a lot of makeover meals, leftover makeovers, where I will turn leftovers into a whole new meal because I don't want anything to go to waste, because I truly believe that God will not continue to bless me with an abundance if I if I can't prove to him that I can take care of it. So I hate when I fall short. I hate when I let things go to waste. I personally, I repent and pray over it, and of course try to do better and not let those things, those you let life get in the way and you get too busy, and things start falling off. So I'm always mindful of that. We're called to manage well what God entrusts us. So this goes to 1 Corinthians 4:2. It says, moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found faithful. So stewardship is about faithfulness. It's not about having the most or making it look perfect. It is about being faithful to what is blessed upon you. Wise planning is commended. This comes from Proverbs 21:20. Precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it. So a wise steward saves, sets aside, and thinks ahead, not just consuming everything as soon as it comes in. It's not about being, of course, this goes to being gluttonous. And just wanting it all and just ravaging through it. It really is, and it's a good opportunity to strengthen your reserve muscle, strengthen your control muscle, and really think about how much you consume, how you consume it. It goes right back to like the waste not, want not. So, so something to think about. Stewardship involves caring for your family. This goes to 1 Timothy 5:8. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Think about that. Those are some pretty powerful words. So providing for our homes is a biblical responsibility that we have. Pantry building, meal prepping, readiness, it all falls under this. And it's all important. It's something we're all called to do. And I really think that that's why we all have this calling in our spirit that we all want a pantry. We all want preparedness, at least majority of us. And I really think it's because we know that we're called to do this. Small things matter. Luke 16:10. One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. And one who's dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much. So stewardship starts with the little things: keeping the house, managing the food, managing money and time. God honors faithfulness in small areas. And when you can show that you can be a good steward of the little, He will keep adding on. This is, I kind of always go back to people that want it all and they all want it right now. Well, you haven't proven that you can steward just even a little bit. So you want all of this, but you can't even take care of this. So nothing is too little. Everything is important. So if you have a small pantry, if you have a large pantry, it is equally as important to be a good steward over both of them, or either of them, if you will. We steward not just things, but time and opportunities. This goes to Ephesians 5:15-16. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. So this goes to stewardship that extends beyond physical resources. It's about how we use our days, our energy, and our calling. Biblically, being a good steward means recognizing that our homes, our families, our possessions are on loan from God. It's about being a faithful manager, a provider, a planner, and a witness. and how we manage our homes reflects God's wisdom and provision to others. This is why I rebuke that whole mindset of, if something ever happens and you need something, don't come to my house, or I'll throw you a bottle of water and a bag of ramen, because we're not called to do that. We are called to be preparers. I like to call it preparers instead of preppers, but preparers. We are called to be like worker ants and put food by for the winter months. And we are called to help our neighbors. So anyway, I hope this inspires you in some way, that no matter where you're starting from, whether it's the very beginning and you're moving into, your very first apartment and you've never been on your own before and you want to start a little pantry, to having a big pantry and wanting to take it from, a year food supply to a 2-year supply, wherever you are on the spectrum of pantry building. I hope and I pray that that this somehow serves you, this somehow inspires you, that you can start anywhere. You can start with anything, and you can start at any time. And the devil is a liar. And anything else that you think that you are not worthy enough, you can't do it, you don't have enough money, you don't have a good enough house, your house is too small, you don't know how to do this. There are many of us, including myself, that are willing to help you. I'm willing to take my time out and help you as much as I can in answering any of your questions. I put out a lot of content on this channel regarding emergency preparedness and being prepared for life's unprepared emergencies. I mean, I never thought I would be sitting here, 5 years now out, 4.5 years out from our accident, and that we would have lived through that. And we had a lot of things prepared. We thought we had a lot prepared. In the next video, I will share with you what we thought we were ready for, we really weren't ready for. And that little binder, that little blue binder there, is going to come into play. And so I'll share some stories about that, and about getting your house in order. And that means your not just your spiritual house and your physical house, but legally, and the things that you need to prepare for when something catastrophic happens, like a sudden death. And are you prepared? Or a house fire? Are you prepared? If you had to leave your house and you only had a minute, would you be able to grab something that has everything you need to restart your life? So we'll talk about that in the next video that I do for this collab. But I pray that the next 30 days here helps bless you and helps you better prepare your home, your family, your mind, your heart, your spirit, in being better prepared. September is, I believe, National Preparedness Month, so it's a great month to talk about these things. And I hope it helps you. I hope it strengthens your home and your stewardship over it all. So with that, God bless. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below. I pray that you are doing well, and that life's emergencies don't pop up on you, but if they do, I hope that you're ready and prepared with all these videos and wealth of information that people are willing to just put out and share with you. So all right, you guys, with that, I will be seeing you. I think I'll be back in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, on the 28th with that. And until then, take care and God bless.